let me offer you some advice that I wish someone had offered me before I had children, because I didn't know this, which is this. When you're traveling with your family, when you have children and you travel with said children through the airport, you can be randomly selected by TSA, who will suddenly decide to start peppering your children with questions to make sure that you are not kidnapping them. How fun's that? And I didn't know this was even a thing until it happened to my little family at Denver International Airport. We're traveling through the airport, ready to go. To give you an idea of my son Malcolm's desire to talk to strangers that day, let me explain to you his outfit. He was wearing headphones, not plugged into anything at all, fingerless gloves, and winter boots on a 95-degree day. I ask you, is that the outfit of a 3-year-old who'd like to dialogue with a stranger? I'd argue not. And yet, nevertheless, we're passing through security and suddenly a TSA guy is in Malcolm's face. And he's just like, hey son, what's your name? And Malcolm's like, Malcolm? He goes, okay, good. Is that your brother over there? He goes, yeah. He goes, what's your brother's name? He goes, Ellis. He goes, okay. Are those your parents? And Malcolm goes, I think so. Can you think of a worse answer than I think so? No is actually a better answer. No is like, it's an uncle, it's a godparent, produce some paperwork, get to the bottom of it. But I think so. That's what they've been telling me since they took me from the campsite 4 days ago. And when I say otherwise, they hit me so very hard. So I think so. And we were like, Malcolm, tell that dude where your parents, what are you doing? Tell him, where are your parents? And the guy's like, son, I'm gonna ask you one more time, and this is very important. Are those two your parents? And Malcolm goes, uh-huh. Like clearly under duress. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And then they just let us through because they're TSA and they're fucking inept. TSA is like, hey, what if we took the crew of a Times Square McDonald's, put them in charge of global security? What's everybody think? Good idea or not? We get through the x-ray machine miraculously. I'm retrieving my bag, and this other dad who was in line, he came up to me and he goes, I'm not gonna lie, dude, that made me nervous. I go, made you nervous? If I don't get these two to Reno by Tuesday, I'm out $150K. That's my year, bud. That's my year. The exception to the rule of Malcolm's shyness is women. He likes talking to women. In fact, he'll only talk to women, which I so get. Men are the worst. If I had the option of never talking to a man again my entire life, I would take that option. But men keep talking to me, and it feels rude not to respond, so I have to engage. My son, he's under no such societal constraints. He can talk to whoever he wants to talk to, and he's decided that's only going to be women. So the other day, we were at the park, and we were playing Delivery Guys, because my son will only play working class games. Yeah. Delivery guys, firefighters, EMTs, construction workers. Some lets me know he doesn't respect what I do for a living at all. So we're playing Delivery Guys, and a woman comes running through the park, right where we're playing. She's got earbuds on, she's jogging, she's minding her own business, and my son Malcolm, he just goes, hey, you! Yeah, like real delivery guy energy, you know? Just cat calls her, hey, you! And she stops and takes her earbuds out. She's like, yeah, yes? He goes, we're delivery guys. She goes, oh, yeah? He goes, yeah, my brother, my dad, me, we're delivery guys. And she goes, well, what are you delivering? And he goes, we're on break. Like, I'm not pretending to know my son's eventual sexual preference, but if he ever decides that it is in fact women, he's already gaslighting at a high school level. Once he figures out that women love it when you tell him to smile more, he's gonna fucking crush. And I can feel a lot of women in the room not liking where that joke went. But I set up the joke by saying men are the worst, and then I ended the joke by giving an example of men being the worst. So I ask you, is it the joke that you don't like, or do you just hate foreshadowing? We're done at 2, no more kids. If any of you have more than 2, God bless you. We're done. We have 2 and we're barely surviving. We're husks of people. 2 and we're done. My wife is very serious. She wants me to get a vasectomy. She is dead serious. She wants me to get a vasectomy. She's like, you gotta get a vasectomy. And I said, how am I gonna have a secret family if I get a vasectomy? She's like, quit fucking around. I want you to get a vasectomy. And I said, can't we just try anal first? She's like, fine. But I gotta tell you guys, she's been fucking me in the butt for about 3 months, and I do not know how we didn't get here sooner. You thought I was gonna zig, I zigged. Denver with the anal sex applause break. Classing it up. Go Broncos! It's the dumbest crap. Go Broncos!
I was curious about my genealogy, so I sent a saliva sample to Ancestry DNA, and I just got the results back, and it turns out that I'm part English, part Scottish, and part Jack Russell. Which explains a lot. Because I love animals so much. Oh. I commented the other day that I don't know that I could have actually given birth because I can barely get through a gynecological exam. And a friend of mine goes, oh, you'd do it in a heartbeat if you'd have Cocker Spaniels. Yes, I would. If I could have puppies, I'd have a litter right here. And if I see a baby anything, my milk comes in. I love them so much. I was down in Tallahassee, Florida, and I'd gone to the duck ponds to feed the ducks. Well, here come a mama duck and a whole bunch of babies, and I'm trying to make sure they all get a bite. And out of nowhere comes this little girl and scatters the ducks. And her mother goes, Amy, don't you chase them babies back in the water without their mama. So in a minute, here come the ducks. I'm trying to feed them. Here comes Amy. Amy, I am not going to tell you again. Don't you chase them babies back in the water without their mama. 10 more times she told that child she wasn't going to tell it again. Finally, I walked over and I said, Amy. Unless you want to go in the water without your mama, stop it. Because my mama didn't tell me she wasn't going to tell me again, then tell me 10 more times. If I didn't do what I was told, I got knocked in the head. That's why I'm amazed today when I hear these reports that some kid was building a bomb in his parents' garage and they had no idea. If I'd been building a bomb in my parents' garage, not only would my mother have sniffed it out, she'd have stuck it up my rear end and lit it. And that would have put an end to the bomb building. That's how that works. But that's why I have dogs. 4 to be exact. All rescues. And the last one I rescued was a little Chihuahua. She was abandoned on the street. She walked over to me, looked at me with those big eyes and said, "Can you take me in? I'm homeless. I'm pregnant." Hey, I've made some mistakes. But she had 2 of the cutest puppies I've ever seen. But she has had a terrible time losing the baby weight. So I put her on a diet, but she is such a typical female. Every time I go to weigh her, she's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. Take this collar off." And then I rescued a little terrier. I named him Jax because he looks just like Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. He's like scruffy and wild-eyed and looks like just any moment he could snap. And the first time I took him to the vet, she walked in to give him shots. He looked at her, he cut his eyes back at me, and he said, "Tell that bitch to be cool." I said, "Be cool, honey bunny." And then there's Buddy. Someone called me and said that there was a 9-month-old Cocker Spaniel who needed a home because its owner had died. I know. And I did not want another dog, but I said, I can find a 9-month-old Cocker a home easy. So I went to get him. Turns out he wasn't a 9-month-old Cocker. He was a 9-year-old Cocker. And he had lived outside in a small pen for 8.5 years. And I knew he would be harder to adopt out, so, what's one more? But when it storms, all the other dogs are huddled in a corner shaking. Not Buddy, because he lived through the storms. Trees could be falling around him. Wouldn't bother. Wouldn't react. But if the microwave dings, he pees himself. And the one I've had the longest, rescued him when he was literally only days old. His mother had been hit and killed. I scooped him up, took him to the vet. The vet said he probably wouldn't make it, but I got up around the clock and I nursed him back to health, and he did make it. And my intention was once I got him healthy, was to find him a home. But once you breastfeed one, you can't give it away. But he was the greatest dog. He has a basset body with a German Shepherd head. And right after he gets groomed, he looks just like Donkey from Shrek. But he acts like an old man. He hates change. He's a creature of habit. One of the other dogs had to have eye surgery, and when she walked through that door with the cone on, he dove under the table and started making out his living will. If I, Trooper Mills, ever need to wear a cone, put me down. But when I walk through the house, I have 4 dogs right behind me, taking every step I take. I go to the bathroom, 4 dogs. Trooper, the one I breastfed, he just lays across the threshold and stares at me like, you are the love of my life. And then have a chihuahua going, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. And a terrier dropping a ball on my feet going, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. And that overweight Cocker Spaniel twerking up to me going, scratch my bottom, scratch my bottom. But I know I'm a crazy dog person, but I come by it honest. Everybody in my family, we have ground our teeth down to nubs talking baby talk to dogs. My dad, who's not a touchy-feely guy, he used to come home from work, look at us and go, hey, and then grab that dachshund and say, what the baby do? What the baby do today? Did baby chase a squirrel? Did that baby chase a squirrel? I'm sitting there thinking, maybe I should start chasing squirrels.
After one particular show, this is New Year's in Seattle. I'll never forget 2016. Now, I'm not a weed guy. But I remember around that time, that's when dispensaries like first hit the streets, okay? So everybody was very interested. I'm not a weed guy. I get paranoid. If it works for you, fantastic. I don't smoke. You're paranoid, it's a terrible experience. So I go into the dispensary with my friends as moral support, okay? This guy's trying to sell me. You know, and you walk into a dispensary, people weird in the dispensary. You know, people take themselves way too seriously in a weed dispensary. There was a dude working there wearing a lab coat. I was like, come on, man. Take that lab coat off. You're a drug dealer, man. Stop it. What kind of high do you want, sir? I don't want to get high. I just came here for moral support, you know. When I get high, I get paranoid. Well, I got something to fix your paranoia. He opened a drawer. I can fix your paranoia. No, you can't. If I get high, I will call the police on everybody in this room. You understand? We're going to jail tonight. I don't smoke. So, this particular night, hanging out with some comics after the show, and one of the guys looked at me. He's like, and he asked me, hey, Courtney, do you want to do some weed butter? I was like, what, weed butter? I ain't no marijuana made butter, but apparently white people have the recipe. I was like, what? You want some butter? I was like, what? And he just pulled it out of his back pocket. It was a weird thing. It was already in a saucer. He was like, hey, some butter. I was like, really? Why is it black? What is going on in there? I got some bread, and then he pulled out some King's Hawaiian rolls. Oh, man, I love King's Hawaiian rolls. I could eat King Hawaiian rolls without any butter, you know, like a duck. I could just throw it back dry. But I felt like it was disrespectful to eat all of his bread and not have some of the butter. So I was like, all right. Sure, I'll try that butter out, man. Cool. Great. So then he put the butter out there, and I took the roll and I sopped it up, and got me some edibles. About an hour and a half later, I didn't feel a thing. I was like, this is not that big of a deal. And he came back, hey man, do you want some more of that butter? Sure, I'll take some more of that butter. Oh, it's the worst decision I ever made. I didn't know the edible rules, man. I didn't know. You do one edible and you wait for the rest of your life for that to kick in. That's the rules. You don't double dip on edibles, okay? You gotta let the first one get a chance to do its damage before you double up on the next. Because if the first one finds out you did something with the second, oh, you went behind my back. Because all of a sudden it turns into some kind of Mortal Kombat. Finish him! Come here! Boom! All of a sudden the room started shaking back to front. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm in the corner wobbling side to side. I had my arms out. I was trying to, what are you doing? I'm trying to stop this room from shaking, man. This is terrible. Hey man, we gotta get home now, man. We gotta go home. We'll leave in a minute. No, I need to go home so I can call the police, dog. This is the worst day of my life. It's terrible. Call me an Uber. I took a 45-minute Uber ride. 3 blocks from my house. It's the worst night of my life. I was so high, I thought the driver was following me home. This is how high I was. I was like, oh my God, how does he know where I live, man? I'm being kidnapped right now. So hey man, take a left. It was like, oh my gosh, I should have had a lunch. If I'd have had a lunch, I wouldn't eat so much of that bread, man. This is the worst night of my life. Hey, take a right. This is terrible. I gotta call somebody. You ever been so high? It's like, I gotta call somebody. Like, I don't know, who do you call? But I gotta let somebody know what's going on right now in case I go missing. I need to call somebody. So I called my wife. I was like, hey babe, what are you up to? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sleeping. What do you think I'm up to? Oh yeah, I just wanted to make sure. What are you doing later on tonight? Yeah, I think I'm gonna need a ride to the hospital. I think this is the way this night's gonna end. Yeah, I did some edibles at the club. I don't know what's going on right now. I Googled black people with edibles. They're all confused too. So I was just trying to figure out why I can't see right now. Hey man, take a right. I'm being kidnapped, by the way. Yeah, dude from Making a Murder, he's an Uber driver. This is some weird things going on. Are you high? Yes, I'm high. I'm glad that you asked. And I want him to know that I know that you better not try to kidnap me, dog. Hey, can you stay on the phone till we get home? Just please turn the light on or something. Get home now. She yelled that into the phone. Get home now. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I got it. I turned to the driver. I was like, hey man, we got to get home. No problem. Get out of the car. Oh, we're here? Have we been parked the entire time? Did you bring me to my house? It's a 5-star rating coming your way. Good. I don't know if you ever had somebody waiting for you to get home. That's a scary experience when someone's waiting for you. You ever go to like put your key in the door and you go to turn, you don't even get a chance to turn the doorknob. Somebody's waiting on the other end to choke the life out of you. And they snatch the door open. As I turned my key, she pulled the door open from the other side. I was so high, I thought I did a magic trick. I was like, ta-da! Oh my gosh, it's you! Yes, it's me. Oh man, I thought I'd never see you again. It's good to see you. Oh man, what a night we've had. I cannot believe you did this. She blamed it on me. I cannot believe you did this. What kind of example are you? Can't believe you did this. Disgusting. Where's your shirt, by the way? Oh, my shirt. I'm glad you asked. I traded in for this coat. You know what I mean? There was trading shirts for coats out there. I was like, oh, my lucky day, I got a shirt on me. So I just traded my shirt for a coat. This worked out great. That is your coat. Oh, gosh, where's my shirt? Somebody stole my shirt, man. It was that Uber driver. I told you, Stephen Avery. He has my shirt. Well, this is awkward. I'm gonna need you to give me that ride to the hospital. Yeah, I'm about to die in 15 minutes. I'm pretty convinced. I need to get there before rigor mortis set in. I gotta have some witnesses or something. I'm not giving you a ride to the hospital tonight. Enough of that. I'm not giving you a ride to the hospital. Well, I'm gonna call the police and they're gonna give me a ride to the hospital. Somebody's giving me a ride to the hospital tonight. That's the way it's working, okay? I'm not giving you a ride to the hospital. What are you gonna tell them when you get to the hospital? I'm high. Yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna tell them. But this is not the time to keep secrets, you know what I mean? They're gonna know I'm high. I lost my shirt while I was wearing my coat. They're gonna know I'm high. And if I don't tell them I'm high, you're gonna tell them I'm high because you're a snitch. So, let's get her out to the hospital.
It's funny though, because I still have like a primal urge to reproduce that comes out every once in a while, you know? Like I remember a few months ago, I was very, very sick and I had a really bad fever. And I was lying in bed with a fever and I was just like, I told my girlfriend, I was like, bring me my son. Give him my USB stick, it has all my saved games on it. Tell him to continue my legacy. She was like, I will get you an Advil, I'll do that. I mean, it's a lot. A kid is a huge decision to make. It's a lot of financial and emotional resources to spend, and you never know how the kid's going to turn out. It's kind of a huge gamble. Imagine spending all this money and time raising a kid, and they just grow up to be a comedian. Like, my God, what a disaster. I'm very lucky. I have a very lovely partner that I live with in Vancouver. Partner is a very millennial term. We invented that term. We can take that for ourselves. The millennials, we invented partner, and I love it. I love the term partner. I remember when I was in high school, I thought it would be really nice to have a girlfriend. And then when I graduated and saw how expensive everything was, I was like, I need a partner. I definitely need a partner for this. Like, it's kind of romantic, too. It's kind of a romantic term. It's almost like, it implies, like, if I go down, you go down with me. Like, let's go out of business together. But yeah, I have a very lovely partner. She's very nice. And we took a long time to, get together. It was like a long process before we eventually committed to a relationship. And I think that is a smart, cautious way to go. Relationships are very scary. I think they should be approached in the same way you would approach exploring an unexplored cave. You have to have the same system. You want to have like a constant contact with your friend group on the outside, and like you want to tie a rope around your waist and give it to all your best buds, and you just like slowly lower yourself into the relationship, maintaining constant contact with the surface. You just sort of start going into the cave, and you're like, what do you guys think of her? And they're like, dude, she's so cool. You should go another couple hundred feet in. You guys are awesome together. Well, we're about 300 feet down. There's a lot of bats down here, and there's a lot of bats. Oh my gosh. We'll save you. I think that's the way you should approach a relationship, but everybody's got that one friend that's like, is that a cave? And they just dive. You don't hear from them for 8 years. And then they wash up somewhere on the beach. They cough up a wedding ring like, what was that? I have many jobs. I work at a museum in Vancouver as well. That's very interesting, working at a museum. I work at the front desk. It's a very don't care job. It's amazing. I don't have to do anything there. I finished the whole internet last week. I got to the very bottom of the whole thing. Like, it's amazing working where there's no stakes, you know? Like, I'd never try even slightly at my job. You know, some people approach the desk with, like, weird coupons. They're like, it's a 2-for-1, but there's 3 of us. I'm like, it's free for all of you. I can't do that math. Like, that's... What a genius. There's a couple awkward discounts I administer, though. At the seniors discount, I know is awkward. You know, you don't want to just assume someone's old. You know, you don't want to have like a wrinkle scale in your head and just assume someone is a senior. They might get offended. So I always ask, like, I might ask some leading questions to find out if they're old. I'll be like, hey, so do you own a house? And when they're like, oh, wow, I do actually, I'm like, well, it's also cheaper for you today as well. Wow, pretty great. The most awkward discount I administer, though, is definitely the discount for Indigenous people. They do not pay to go into the museum, but they don't advertise this at the front desk. So I'm stuck in a situation where I want to make sure Indigenous people don't pay to go in, but I also don't want to ask what race people are at the front desk. Because I look like I would do that. And like, I don't want to be sitting there like, oh, excuse me, sir, are you Indigenous? And he's like, oh, actually, no, I'm Mexican. I'm like, full price for Mexicans. I did my degree in music, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah, I will be poor forever. It's tough, you know. It's tough having a degree in music and applying for jobs because I always have to apply for, like, the lowest tier job at a place because I don't really have any skills, you know, and it's tough to not be sarcastic because a lot of these very low-level positions still want you to prove that you're, like, physically, spiritually, emotionally dedicated to this stupid job for money. And it can be very tough for me. I'll be sitting in an interview, and they're like, so Miles, why do you want to work here? And I'm like, well, you know, in my 4th year of music school, I was listening to the late Beethoven string quartets, and I was so deeply moved by the music that I realized my true calling in life is shipping and receiving, so... Yes, I am forklift certified. I do teach piano lessons as well. If you're interested, please let me know. And it's interesting teaching lots of different kids. I teach a lot of rich kids piano, and it's funny, you know, I can spot a rich kid from so far away. It's just crazy, because you just notice they look so healthy, like it's crazy. How healthy rich kids are. Like, their hair is so full of vitamins and minerals. Like, I wouldn't eat one, but I would, like... But maybe, like, one bite. It's very hard to... teach rich kids piano because they don't respect me at all because they know that their dad can buy and sell me. It's very hard to intimidate them, you know. And like I remember I teaching this one kid, and he literally said, "Are we done here?" And I took a deep breath and I was like, "How am I going to scare this kid into being afraid of me?" And I was like, "You know, you'll probably never actually see a mountain lion, but." another kind of kid I teach. Public school kids can be very difficult to teach because they don't have any attention span. They've been they're not easy to scare either because they've been in Gen Pop for so long. I can't scare them into practice. I was teaching one public school kid something on the piano, and he just laughed in my face like the Joker. I was like, "Oh, you have to play here on the music," and then he was just like, I was like, "What is funny that happened?" And he was like, "Oh, nothing. I was just thinking about a YouTube video from earlier today." I was like, "You're watching YouTube right now in your brain?" Can you put some piano lessons in there? My favorite kids to teach, though, for sure, are homeschooled kids. It's just an absolute delight to teach homeschooled kids. They're very easy to intimidate. It usually goes something like this. I'll be like, have a seat at the piano, Abraham. Bless you and your waist-long hair. Now, I noticed you didn't practice last week, and if you don't practice this week, I'm gonna vaccinate you. I'll do it. I went to music school mostly because it was almost entirely paid for by the government. Not because I'm so good at the piano, it's because I am medically stupid. I'm actually so dumb, the government just paid for everything. It's incredible. It was a strange journey to get this. I was at a harmony class, like a music theory exam, and I did really badly on the test, and in the hallway, a bassoon professor approached me, and they were like, "Miles, have you ever had your brain looked at?" And that's a real low point in your life when a bassoon professor is like, "You might be insane." And I was like, "No." And then she was like, "Well, if they find you, you have some disabilities, you might be eligible for grant money." And I was like, "I am scheduling an appointment right now, actually, as we speak." So I had an appointment with a neuropsychologist, and they did a 9-hour neuropsychological examination of me. And they asked me all sorts of bizarre questions. He was like, what are you most afraid of in life? And I was like, mountain lions for sure. And then he would write in his little notebook for a long time. And he was like, "What are your plans for the future?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I'm only 24. And he was like, "Oh, all right." And I had this whole exam. At the end of the exam, I got the results back, and he had them in a big, thick file. And he says, "Miles, the results are in, and yeah, you're going to be getting that grant. Also, you may have an IQ as low as 86. How do you feel about this?" And I was like, "Out of 100? So I got my grant, and I'm so happy, and I'm sitting at home, and I got a letter in the mail from the doctor, and it's an invoice for the exam. It's $2,000. And I was like, "Oh my God. Like, I don't know how I'm going to pay this." And I got so mad. I couldn't believe it was so expensive. I thought this was going to be paid for. I'm disabled. And I'm pacing around inside my grandma's house thinking about what the hell's going on. I began to question if this guy's a real doctor, that took a real brain exam, because I'm thinking, halfway through this exam, this guy should have been thinking to himself, "There's no way Miles has $2,000. And by the end of the exam, he should have been realizing there's no way Miles will ever have $2,000. So I got it in my head. I said, you know what? I'm going to issue my own IQ exam for this doctor. It's my own test to him. My test is, can this smart doctor get $2,000 out of a man with an 86 IQ? And so far, it's been 10 years. So checkmate, Dr. Dum Dum.
When you debate your life, when you go back and forth in your life, you don't know if you're going to live or die. You realize a lot of things. Great things that happen in your life and terrible things that happen in your life. And one thing that stood out to me is my parents never told me they loved me till I was 29 years old. And it really messed with me in the hospital, right? So before I get into that story, I got to tell you about my parents. If you haven't seen my last special, my dad is black, born and raised in Louisiana, has a PhD in nuclear physics, and served our country in the Army, people. Right. Now, in the last special, he was 75. Now he's 78, and he hasn't changed. He's still black and has swag. He still walks around the house like this, you know what I mean? And he's always laughing like, yeah. And always pointing at random shit that's not there. Just like, Now, my mom, she was born and raised in Korea, South Side. Now we know who doesn't watch the news in his room. I said it in my last special, Blasian. It's tough having an Asian mom because if they think it, they say it, they have no filter. My mom just turned 70 and now all bets are off. She does not care. I never thought my mom could be worse. My mom won't even say people's names to me anymore because she would rather describe them to me. She calls me the other day and goes, you know what? I like your friend, he nice. I go, which one? She goes, fat boy, small feet. But I knew exactly who she was talking about. Because with my mom will say things that make you mad. She will say things that make you want to fight. But my mom really feels that she can say anything to anybody. Because it's a truth. Oh, you don't like truth? Why you mad? It's a truth. Do I lie? Do I lie? My mom got in a fight with my wife. Now, full transparency, my wife cooks like once every couple of, once. So my mom walks into our new house and goes, oh, what a beautiful kitchen for no cooking. I go, Mom, you can't say that in my house. No, not to my wife. She goes, why? It's a truth. You don't like truth? And then to me and my wife, she goes, do I lie? Do I lie? I look at my dad for help. He's like, walk away, son, walk away. My wife, she's white. Whoa, it got quiet, okay. But my wife is just not white. She white. Now, I know a lot of people in here are white, and you're questioning yourselves right now going, am I white? No. My wife is whiter than you. My wife is from Gillette, Wyoming white. You hear that? When white people in Timmy like, damn. That's white. But we got a beautiful family, man. We got 2 kids. My son is now 5, my daughter's 2, and they're black, white, and Asian. That's right. We gave birth to pandas. We call them Ling Ling and Sing Sing. And my last special, I talked about this when my son was born, because I didn't have a daughter at that time. When my son was born and the doctor handed me my son. It's crazy as a father because I knew I would die for him, right? And I don't even know this dude. He could be a terrible human being, but I would die for him, you know? But when they handed me my daughter, oh, it was different. I was like, oh, okay. I would kill for you. I became a murderer overnight. Because the family dynamic to me is crazy. Like, I would die for my son, I would kill for my daughter. But here's what's crazy. I wouldn't kill for my wife. Because that's not my job. That's her father's job. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Because I love both of my kids the same. But the love is in different directions. My son, I want him to be able to take care of himself, be strong. But I know for the rest of my life, I'm going to protect my daughter. 100%. And what's the biggest threat to women? Men. Look at that. Men. So now I hate all men. I became a lesbian activist overnight. / murderer. I'm Ellen DeGeneres with a gun. Because every man's a threat to my daughter. Every single man eventually will be a threat to my daughter. I hate my son. Sometimes I hate my son. Why? Because he's a threat to my daughter. We all have baby cams and watching my kids play. My daughter's playing with her little toy. My son walks over and grabs the toy from her. I get so angry, but then my daughter grabs it back and I'm like, yeah, that's my baby girl. Right? Don't take no man's crap. But then my son looks around to see if anybody's watching. Starts backing up where she is, and he hits her with his butt. And she falls to the ground and starts crying. I get so angry inside. I'm so mad, I wanna fuck this little dude up, right? But I can't, he's only 5 and it's not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight. All I can do is scream and like, hey, you better stop that. And he runs off. But my daughter could hit my son with a brick in the face. I'd be like, hey girl, good job, good job. Because a daughter makes you a better man, 100%, 100%. It makes you more empathetic, you care about people, you get sensitive. I cry all the time now. All the time. I don't even know why. My wife looks at me in disgust I cry so much. She's like, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen my dad cry once, but I cry all the time. And then it hit me. Every generation of father gets softer and softer and softer. It means things are getting easier. My black grandfather was born in 1902 in America. Went through injustices you couldn't even imagine. My dad went through segregation, still got a PhD in nuclear physics, and had to march just to drink out of the same water fountains as everybody else. That's right. Me? I would never drink out of a fountain. That shit's disgusting. But my dad, man, I can't take him to the park because he has to drink out of every freaking fountain. I'm like, you fought for this? He's like, I deserve this, son. I deserve it. I tell you, man. I'm going on 6 years of marriage, man. My parents, though, they just celebrated 48 years of marriage. That's something to clap about. So I asked my dad, I said, hey man, you've been married 48 years. How'd you do it? How do you stay married that long? My dad looks at me and goes, that's simple, son. Never say the first or second thing that pops into your head. You always say the third. I go, what's that mean? He goes, well, the first thing, you will get a divorce. The second thing, you are on the couch. But the third thing, happily ever after. I'm 6 years in, I don't get it. to about a month ago. Me and my wife are driving to Vegas. She packs a cooler of food for our 2-year-old daughter. We get to Vegas. My wife opens up the cooler and goes, "Oh my God, the food all melted." I look in the cooler and notice she didn't put any ice in it. You. I manned up though, you know, hey baby, yeah. You didn't put any ice in the cooler. My wife looks at me and goes, "You don't need to put ice in a cooler. It's a cooler, duh." Now, the first thing I thought was, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. But I didn't say the first thing, I didn't say the second thing, I said the third thing. I said, "Baby, I can't believe this cooler is broken."
You could be any witness that you want to be. I started doing comedy in Ohio when I first started. My friends and I, you're always a broke person as a comedian, looking for ways to make money. Well, my one friend told me about this thing where you can sue somebody on court television, and the court show actually pays whoever wins, and it doesn't go on anybody's record. So we started just making up cases to sue each other, and then just split the money and make sure the plaintiff wins. I was a witness on Judge Alex. My team won, and I'm glad we won because I needed the money at the time.
Man, I'm just glad we got this money. I needed the money so bad. I'm broke. I have like 3 frozen hamburgers at home. I can't afford to buy toothpaste.
You could be any plaintiff that you want to be. I was on Judge Joe Brown as a plaintiff. You can be any defendant that you want to be. I was on Judge Alex again as a defendant. I went a few years later. I used my middle name to slip past the producers. And this one I played a promoter. I was supposed to promote my friend's Battle of the Beards contest, and I kind of just blew him off and didn't do anything. And when I got to court, I really didn't have much of a defense at all either. And Judge Alex was not impressed with me.
To me, I just think communication was failed. Communication was failed? I agree. What does that even mean? I don't know. I just think it was just a misunderstanding, and I don't understand why it's got to be like this. How much weed do you smoke?
All right. You could be any journalist that you want to be. This is a company called Monet. They're a multi-level marketing company, AKA a pyramid scheme, where the only people who make money that work for them are the people at the top of the pyramid, all the executives. Everyone else just ends up wasting a bunch of time or losing money, actually. In addition to being one of these companies, they're also been known for making people lose their hair. Yeah, they have like skin products that were making people lose their hair. So I emailed them and pretended to be a reporter from a newspaper I made up called the Coloradoan Times. Signed, my name is Jackie Jones. I emailed them a meme I made of their CEO. I photoshopped him bald and said, "If you like the Vin Diesel look, you should try our hair products because they'll make you bald." They wrote back and said, "It's absolutely, unequivocally not from their CEO." So I said, "Okay, we'll make note that he didn't say anything about Vin Diesel. However, we do have something Vin Diesel said about him." And I said, "We can share that with you too before we run our story." They're like, "Yes, we absolutely want to see that story and quote before you run it." So I was like, "Okay, yes, this is directly from Vin's reps. I've relied on Monat to keep me bald for years." So, after this email, the next email I got was from their lawyers. And they sent me a multi-page demand letter. It mentioned Vin Diesel like 6 times. And they said that you can tell it's not their CEO by a simple Google search. They said if Jackie or the Coloradoan Times publishes this, they'll take swift legal action. And then they gave me a deadline to confirm that I won't publish this. And then they said if you have any questions or want to address this issue further, please contact us or have your attorney do so. So I had my attorney do so. I wrote them and said, on January 28th, 2021, you threatened to take swift legal action. I'm reaching out to inform you that if you take any legal action against Jackie or the Coloradoan Times, even just a tiny hair of legal action, I'll respond by photoshopping every Monad executive bald. These photos will be posted on the internet and made easily accessible by a simple Google search. In addition, I'll get in touch with every bald celebrity to ask them if they'd be interested in promoting Monad, and that list includes, but is not limited to, Pitbull, Charles Barkley, Samuel L. Jackson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Larry David, Seal, Terry Crews, and the Dalai Lama. You have until Friday, January 29th, 2021 at 8:59 a.m. Mountain Standard Time to read this email. That time has already passed. If you have any questions or wish to address this issue further, please do not hesitate to contact a Jones. Sincerely, Jackie Jones. Jones, Jones & Jones, LLC, attorneys at law. You mess with Jones, you get the Jones. So I shared this online, and someone saw it, I guess, and then they sent me a link to a Zoom party that all of the executives, all the people at the top of the pyramid at Monat were having together. So I joined as Trey Angle, and it got a little awkward in there.
And I see one face I don't recognize. Who is Mr. Angle?
Hey, I'm Trey.
And they removed Trey from the meeting. So I tried rejoining. I changed my name really quick and tried to rejoin, and they let me back in. So I was able to say,
You mess with the Jones, you get the Jones.
you could be anything. You know, it's crazy. I've been doing comedy actually 14 years ago. Around 14 years ago, I started doing stand-up comedy. And then, yeah, thanks. Then I started pretending to be other people, all these things. And I've always wanted to be a professional stand-up comedian. That was the thing I wanted to be the most. So by pretending to be all these things, eventually I think I did become the thing I wanted to be most. And that's because all of you are here. Yeah. Thank you. You validated me. I made it. I
don't know. Do you know how procreation works, right?
No.
You know that there's like a million sperm that go swimming towards that one egg, competing to see which one can fertilize that egg?
Yeah.
I am amazed that yours won.
Yeah.
I want to be canceled. Here's the deal. Canceled comics sell more tickets than non-canceled comics. Don't you understand what's happening? People get canceled on purpose, and people get, ooh, I hate that guy. Here's some money, guy I hate. That's what happens. But the problem with me is I've done stand-up comedy for 33 years, and I've only made fun of myself. I've never looked at another person and made fun of them. I've never made fun of race, religion, sexual, nothing. But I want to be canceled. But I can't. I am the Matchbox 20 of comedy. You'll enjoy me. You'll probably vacuum your apartment to me. You're gonna have a wonderful time tonight. But when you leave, you're gonna be indifferent. And I've accepted that. And I could tell right now, you look pretty young. Matchbox 20 was very popular in the 90s. I don't have a lot of time for crowd interaction, but I could tell immediately you're like, Matchbox what? I wanna push you around, yes I will, I will. Kid's not allowed his phone, he was about to Shazam me singing. Okay, so I don't know, how old are you?
I'm 23.
23. So 23, great age. It's the last time I'll talk to you throughout the show, but thank you for that. Okay, so I'm not 23, but okay, I don't know anything more than you. I'm not smarter than you. I would never lecture you. Life to me is like a Netflix series. I'm just 30-some seasons ahead of you. Okay? So I have some spoilers. Even hearing that song, I realize how old I've become when Matchbox 20 is an old reference. It's not like I said, you know, Toto, Steely Dan. I didn't even do that stuff. I literally went Matchbox 20 thinking that was still a hip reference. So, listen, usually I look way more youthful and not tired, but here's what happened. I was staying at the hotel. I got in last night to be, so I could get a little bit of sleep. But there's some type of travel youth sports staying at my hotel. I have a theory. Travel youth sports is a front for parents who want to swing. Saying it right now. I don't have a way to end that joke, but I think listen, you're being an asshole if just because you want to hook up, you make your kid run around with a lacrosse stick. I just say. I was all worried about this special because I still have COVID weight. It's still a thing. You guys remember COVID? Okay, this thing happened. Like, you don't know. Like, every city you go to, or state you go to, everybody has different, like, experiences. Like, some states didn't even know. They're like, what? What happened? Right? It doesn't feel like, even when I say COVID, it's weird because you don't automatically think a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Everyone's perception is so off. Remember, like, Tiger King? Doesn't that feel like that was on in 1992? Right? Doesn't it feel like, yo, no, I came home, I watched Tiger King, The Grind, and Real World Season 3. True story. Sorry. By the way, we're getting it hot enough in here to do a little hot yoga after the thing, just to let everybody know. Once this room gets 140 degrees, we're gonna pass mats out to everybody, and we're gonna start with some stretches, and then we're gonna kind of go. That's why it's that hot in here. Right? So, but no, COVID was like, so I gained 20 pounds over COVID, maybe even 25. And I don't do 25 pounds well because I'm little. Like, this should show you just how little I am. When I was in high school, I wrestled varsity at 105 pounds. Show you what a monster I was. Right? I even jumped up to 112 to see what those Vikings had in them. See what the real men were like up there at 112, right? So an extra 20 pounds on me with skinny legs and skinny arms, I just goes right here. I just look like Kermit the Frog, right? And so, you know, COVID lasted a while. I had a lot of smoked Gouda. Literally, I was up to a puck a night, easy a puck of a night. So it's all right here. And then once COVID kind of whatever, I started doing a lot more corporate events, and they kind of make you dress like an adult when you do those. So I put on this like suit jacket, and I buttoned it, and it was tailored to pre-COVID John, right? So it stuck out like this. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do my show. I'm gonna like suck it in, go like this, and just get on stage and try to do my whole show in one breath. Just, what's up, everybody? Right? So I decided to buy these things, and I didn't know what they are. I just saw them just online. I was like, this is interesting. I'm not wearing one tonight. This is regular cotton. But I bought these things. You look at me as if you know what I bought. I bought this shirt, these things called Spanx. Okay. If you don't know what Spanx are, it's an undershirt that pushes your boobs up, pulls them back, pushes your shoulders back, gets your side fat in a little, pushes in your paunch, and does something with your back fat. I don't know exactly. Does a lot of work right there, right? So, but they almost feel like a wetsuit material. If you ever go scuba diving or anything like that, it's this rubbery type of rash guard. So I knew I was in trouble because I was like having a hard time like getting my head through the hole. And then I stuck one hand through this, and then I stuck my other hand through like this, and then I'm like, I'm stuck. I'm like, I'm so stuck. And my hands were like, I couldn't even reach it. So I'm like, the last time I've been in this position, I think I was being born. It was weird. And then I'm like, well, if I go, I can come out backwards and go breach. Right? I guess I could do that. And then I finally somehow got the strength to come through like that, which was weird. And then I grabbed the shirt and I pulled it all the way down, okay? And then when I would let go of it, it would go. You know, like those blinds where you go. It literally just kept bouncing back up. But at the same time it would bounce back up, it felt like my stomach pushed out even more. So then I'm just looking, it looks like I have like a white halter top on, and then my big gut sticking out. I felt like getting some cut off jeans and just this cigarette walk around. You don't tell me what to do with my baby. You don't tell me what you get off my property. And then I was like, I thought, man, you ever just think you're gonna like have money for a second, just for whatever reason, and then it goes away? Like you just, for a second, oh my gosh, everybody, I thought I was gonna be like a millionaire, trillionaire. Cause I'm like, you know what they need to do? They need to put a snap here. And then I'm gonna put a snap at the back. I could just find a way to snap these two together. I'm gonna be I was like, oh man. Come out of the bathroom, tell my wife that story. I'm like, I just invented this thing. It's gonna be a button. I'm gonna snap it. It's gonna like that. We're gonna be millionaires. My wife goes, did you date anybody in the 80s? I'm like, I mean, once I was a 112 pounder. She's like, yeah, it's called a bodysuit. That snap's been there forever. I'm like, well, I never got to the snap level of the date. I don't know. Something about just having a bodysuit. I just Steel Town girl on a Saturday night. She's a maniac, man. That was Flashdance. And that was a documentary about welding. If you ever want to just feel what it feels like to be a welder and be torn with a life decision. Yeah, I can't believe I gained and then when I pulled the shirt down, it eventually worked, but then my stomach stuck out even more, right? So then I started thunking it. Like percussion, whatever the technical term is, percussing. I'm like thunk, 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 thunk. And I thought if I hit it too much, like that, it would, remember those cinnamon rolls your mom would make where she'd tear it off and go, right? Then I thought all my side fat would come out and then the cream cheese frosting would just pop out. I'm like, oh man, I'm just gonna go with the gut. That seems easier. But it was weird, like when COVID was still going on, there were some states were wide open still, and you had to go work them and perform at them to make money, right? And every state was different, so there's kind of like the COVID run type of states. And this was back when I had a lot of friends that leaned into not getting vaccinated. Their whole thing was, I'm not getting vaxxed. Right, big famous comics were like, I'm not getting vaxxed. You don't even know what's in those shots. Go get your shots, sheep. You don't even know what the government's putting in there. And I just look at someone going, I've seen you do shitty coke in bathroom stalls. I think it's kind of funny. I'll go to CVS and give whatever shot they want to give me, because you know what I'm not worried about that's in that shot? Fentanyl. So... load me up every time. Matter of fact, a couple days ago, I just had my shingle shot. Holy crap, I don't know if you ever had that. Let me just tell you right now. You go, I'll take the shingle shot. They take the dullest ballpoint pen they can find, and they stab you with it. That's exactly what they do. The guy takes a pencil from his ear and just stabs you. That's a single shot. I mean, I'm 53. I got a circle. I don't know. I got a vaccination when I was in elementary school. I still have the scar. It's a circle with about 20 little dots on it. I think it was for smallpox. I don't know when they did that or how horrible that was. I think we just walked into school one day and the principal was like, hey guys, everybody just go in the library. We're getting class pictures. And everybody's like, okay. And there were dudes in deer stands. This is the Hunger Games before Hunger Games is even a movie. Don't go to the library. Right, but then I got called to ask to perform at places, and you were like, but aren't you afraid of COVID? Like, no, there's no COVID here. Like, I landed in Florida, and I got off the plane there, and the guy who picks you up for that club, just is close talker, just gets right up to you. Hi. Good, going. It's gonna be a good week. Hey, afterwards, the staff's having an apple bobbing competition. Sounds horrible. I won't be going. Okay. Want my chapstick? No, I'm good. COVID. Because I live in Michigan where they just scared the crap out of you. Just every time you turn on the news, don't go outside. Do not go outside. If you have a dog, your dog stays outside for 2 weeks. You want to feed your dog, you buy food on Amazon, send it, your dog will eat through the box. Don't FaceTime your grandma, or everyone on your data plan's dead. And then 3 of their friends are dead. After that, it's like a pyramid scheme. Everybody's dead.